Hello everyone, welcome to Everyday Prelims series of Shantha Lakshmi IAS Academy. So today in this video, let us discuss the topics of 5th of December 2025. First, we are going to discuss about the Handicraft Awards, and second about the Dhruva system by the Indian Postal Department, and third about the Horn-eyed ghost crab, and finally Chile, which is a South American country, mapping. So starting with our first topic, that is the Handicraft Awards. So why we are discussing this Handicraft Awards, the Union Ministry of Textiles has announced that it is going to present these Handicraft Awards for the year 2023 and the 2024. And these awards are going to be presented by the President of India on this December 9th, 2025, which will come under the National Handicraft Week celebrations. And these events are going to happen at the Vigyan Bhavan, New Delhi. So this is the context. So now let's see what are these handicraft awards. So any awards are conferred on the excellency, right? So these awards are also conferred on the handicraft artisans as well as the designers also. Remember, artisans as well as the designers for showing their excellence in this particular handicraft sector. And these awards are being given under this National Handicrafts Development Program under the Union Ministry of the Textiles. So coming to the objectives of this handicraft awards, first is the recognition of their performance or their excellence in this particular sector, and also motivate the young artisans so that they can continue their work with all the enthusiasm. And third is the reward the individuals or the designers for innovating marketing practices also. It not only honors this designing and the artisans, designers and the makers, but also honors those individuals or the designers for innovative marketing practices, and also finally promoting awareness and the adoption of these new technologies in this particular handicraft sector. Now moving to the categories of handicraft awards. See, these handicraft awards are given in the two categories. First is the Shilpa Guru Handicraft Award and second is the National Handicrafts Award. And this Shilpa Guru Handicraft Award is the highest award for this in this handicraft sector. Remember, Shilpa Guru is the highest award. For giving this award, there are no divisions in terms of the category like design, innovation, or any other things. And this is given to a master craftsperson for an exceptional piece of their craft work. And next is the National Handicraft Award. So these are conferred to the outstanding master craftsperson in recognition of the contribution towards the growth and development of this sector. And this National Handicraft Award is conferred once in a lifetime, and these are given exclusively for the women artisans. So there is this kind of categories. One is the exclusively for the women artisan, and next is the young artisan who is below the 30 years of age, and next is the Divyang artisan, and as well as the endangered craft and the tribal artisan also. So these are given under four categories, right? To four types of people. For women, exclusively women, there is separate category, and next young artisan, there is separate category, Divyangs, and also the tribal and the endangered craft artisan. Whereas the Shilpa Guru Awards, there is no this kind of any category or the division. And this also, in spite of these persons, it is also given under the categories of the craft category, in which craft they have been excellent. And next is the design innovation. They have been conferred or recognized on their design also. And next is the startup ventures or the producer company. So these are all the three categories under this National Handicraft Awards. So for the Shilpa Guru Award and for availing this National Handicraft Awards, the eligibility is that they must be the Indian citizen or residing in India, and they have this Pehchan identity card number, Pehchan, for this exclusively for this artisans, handicraft artisans. And coming to the award content, so what they will get for the Shilpa Guru Handicraft Awards, the awardee will get a cash prize of 3.5 lakh and a mounted gold coin of 20 grams and the Tamrapatra shawl and a certificate. And for all other National Handicraft Awards, all categories 2 lakh prize rupees, and Design Innovation Award is award consists of a 3 lakh prize rupees, which is equally shared between the concerned designer as well as the artisan. The designer will get the 1.5 lakh and the artisan who made that design will get the 1.5 lakh. So this is shared between both two and these will get the 3 lakh. Remember this design innovation award category. Whereas other members in this other categories in this National Handicraft Award, that is a startup venture, and the other subcategory of this National Handicraft Awards will get the 2 lakh rupees along with the Tamrapatra shawl and the certificate. For the Shilpaguru Awards, as it is the highest award of this handicraft sector, they will get this 3.5 lakh rupees. So this is all about the handicraft awards, the Shilpaguru Handicraft Awards and the National Handicraft Awards. I'm moving to a second topic, that is Dhruva. So why we are discussing about this Dhruva? So the Department of Post has released a draft amendment to this Post Office Act 2023. So through this amendment, they are going to introduce this interoperable, standardized and the user-centric addressing system, which is called the Dhruva, which stands for Digital Hub for Reference and the Unique Virtual Address. Digital Hub for Reference and the Unique Virtual Address. Remember, Dhruva is an innovative process or the digital public infrastructure by the Indian Post, which is concerned with the providing the virtual address. Coming to this topic right now, the Dhruva stands for Digital Hub for Reference and the Unique Virtual Address, and it is a pioneering digital public infrastructure. It is a public infrastructure which is in digital mode. It is developed by the Department of Post. And what is the purpose of this Dhruva? See, nowadays the e-commerce platforms and the delivery systems are moreover increasing, right? So, in order to cope up with those e-commerce delivery systems, so we have to create a standardized geo-coded digital address system for every location of India so that the delivery will reach to the remote locations also. Now, so many digital platforms cannot come to the remote locations. Why? Their address will not be traceable in this particular system, right? Digital system. So in order to avoid that and to improve this addressing system and the delivery mechanisms to the last mile location, this Department of Post has come up with this Dhruva system so that every location of India will be geo-coded and digitally addressed so that every location will be on the digital platforms and the e-commerce platforms will reach that location very easily. And through this, they are going to provide this as an address as a service framework. Address is also a service framework. And it has the two components under this Dhruva system. First is the creation of the DigiPin, that is the Digital Postal Index Number. Now we have the postal index number, which is the normal or the traditional postal index number. So through that PIN number only, the address will be located, right? So in the same way, we are going to create this DigiPin also, which is a 10-digit alphanumeric code, which has the alphabetic as well as the numerics also. And these will represent a precise geolocation. So this 10-digit number will give a precise geolocation. And this DigiPin is developed by the Department of Post in collaboration with the IIT Hyderabad as well as the National Remote Sensing Center, ISRO. And for developing this DigiPin, India is divided into 4M into 4M grid squares so that each this 4M into 4M place has this each unique DigiPin so that they will be enabled on these digital platforms and so they can be accessed and ensures pinpoint accuracy for any spot on this map. So this is the first component, which is a DigiPin, which is a 10-digit alphanumeric code. And second is the digital address layer. So through this digital address layer, the citizens can make changes. They can create their user-friendly labels like the house number, street name, and etc. And through this, they will allow the consent-based sharing of this address data. Yes, so this digital address layer, the individuals or the citizens can add their labels, house names, house numbers, and these can be accessed with the consent based, only with the consent only they can be shared. So this is all about the Dhruva. And coming to a third topic, that is the horn-eyed ghost crab. So why we are discussing about this species right now? Researchers from the Geetham School of Science from the Visakhapatnam, they have found this horn-eyed ghost crab in the Rushikonda beach. And this is preying on a mottled lightfoot crab. Let's see what is this horn-eyed ghost crab. So it is a semi-terrestrial marine crab. Semi-terrestrial marine crab means it will live on the terrestrial areas as well as the marine areas, oceans and the seas. And this is belonging to the genus Ocypode. Ocypode belongs to the ghost crabs. Ghost crabs. And this is found widely across the Indo-Pacific region. In India, it is present in the east and the west coast as well as the Andaman Nicobar and the Lakshadweep Islands. It is also present in the Southeast Asia, Australia, East Africa, Red Sea and the Pacific Islands. See, the name is that horn-eyed, right? Horn-eyed ghost crab. Horn-eyed. So this name has come because of its horn-like projections extending from the top of its eyes. Here you can see here, these are these eyes, horn-like projections. Horn-eyed crab. And they are known for the pale sand color body, so that they can camouflage on the beaches, so that they can protect themselves from the predators. And they live on the sandy beaches, intertidal zones, as well as the coastal dunes also. Remember, behavior, coming to the behavior, these are extremely fast runners. These horn-eyed crabs are the extremely fast runners, and they are nocturnal, active during the night, whereas in daytime they hide in the burrows. And these are the omnivorous scavenger. And coming to a final topic, that is Chile. So last 2 days we have discussed about the Brazil, which is the largest country of the South America. And next is the second largest country, that is the Argentina. And now we'll see about this Chile. So this Chile is the southernmost country in the world, not in South America. It is the southernmost country in the world. And its capital is Santiago and its official language is Spanish. The Argentina's official language is also Spanish, whereas this Brazil's official language is Portuguese. And its currency is Chilean peso. It also gained its independence from Spain in the year 1880. And say this Chile is known as the longest north-south country in the world, with having the 4,300 kilometer long. It is the longest north-south country. Country shape here you can see north-south country, which has the approximately 4,300 kilometer long, whereas its width is very small, which is of average 177 kilometers only. So remember, southernmost country as well as the longest north-south country in the world is Chile. Coming to the borders here, we can see it's Peru on its northwest and Bolivia and Argentina, right? As well as the Pacific Ocean on its west. Coming to the physiography of this Chile, it has its Andes Mountains on its east border, Patagonia on the south Chile, Atacama Desert on the northern side. Next is the Cape Horn, which is the southernmost tip of South America near the Drake Passage. Coming to the major rivers of this Chile, Loa River, which is the longest river in Chile. Remember, Loa River is the longest river in Chile and it flows through the Atacama Desert. And next is the Maipo River, which supplies or provides water to the Santiago metropolitan region. And the Santiago is the capital of this Chile. And next is the Mapocho River. And this Mapocho is the tributary of this Maipo River. And this Mapocho River flows through this capital, that is the Santiago. And next is the Bio River, which is the largest and the widest river of Chile. So these are the major important rivers. One is the Loa River, which is the longest river, and Mapocho belongs to the Santiago. And next is the Bio River, which is the largest river of this Chile. And see, this Chile is also the part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. So it has many active volcanoes. And it is the highest income country in the South America. And say, remember, this is the world's largest producer of copper. Chile is the world's largest producer of copper. Remember this term. And it is also the part of this ABC lithium triangle. That is the Argentina, Bolivia, as well as the Chile. ABC means Argentina, Bolivia, and the Chile, where there are more number of lithium reserves in this ABC area. So that's all for today. Thank you.